While cleaning my husband's computer, I accidentally opened a folder. It contained tens of thousands of explicit videos. The star was him and my lifelong best friend, who never married. After I gave birth, he claimed his body was damaged and he couldn't perform, so we only had a platonic relationship. For 40 years, he never touched me. I toiled away my whole life, bearing and raising children for him, only to find out it was all a complete lie. I stared at the screen in disbelief, my hand trembling as I gripped the mouse. Each video was meticulously labeled with the year, month, and day. There he was, gray-haired, pinning her down, equally gray-haired, kissing her neck passionately and caressing her body tenderly. Scrolling to the top, the image was blurry, a wave of nostalgia washing over me. They were visibly younger. Beside the bed was a wedding photo of David Chin and me. But the woman on the bed, whose clothes he was ripping off, wasn't me. He held her tightly, as if trying to merge her into his very being. I collapsed to the floor, a tidal wave of palpitations washing over me, my breathing becoming rapid. I gasped for air, but no matter how hard I tried, oxygen couldn't reach my lungs. Tears dripped onto the back of my hand. When he first said he couldn't perform, I had my doubts, but I couldn't bear to leave him. For him, I endured 40 years of loneliness, only to discover it was a complete fabrication. While I was taking care of our aging parents and children, looking disheveled, while I was enduring lonely nights, he was entangled in passionate love with my best friend. Countless nights I asked him to hold me, and he refused. Turns out, he was saving himself for someone else. I was so angry, hating him for being so cruel, deceiving me for 40 years. I couldn't understand why, if he didn't love me, he couldn't leave me and be with the one he loved. Why did he have to conspire with my best friend, betray me, and ruin my life? My mind felt like it was tangled in a dense web of ropes, throbbing with pain, unable to make sense of it all. I got up and searched every drawer I could find, trying to figure it all out, but to no avail. I remembered David talking about a relationship before we got married, but my in-laws disapproved. I never asked why. I called my sister-in-law. She noticed I sounded like I had been crying. "Sis, I'm fine. I was just curious about David's past. Why were Mom and Dad so strongly opposed to it back then? Oh, that woman couldn't have children. What would we want her for?" My brain exploded, like a thunderbolt. My phone clattered to the floor. Sarah Wu was infertile. No wonder she never let me tell my in-laws about our relationship and never appeared in front of them. So, David Chin married me just to carry on the family line. They had been deceiving me from the start. Sarah becoming my best friend was part of their plan. It felt like a huge hole had been ripped open in my chest, gushing blood. I sat blankly on the floor. The bright sunlight outside should have made me sweat, but a chill seeped into every pore of my body. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds in the distance, I looked back on these 40 years. What had I done wrong to deserve this? My phone rang. It was my son. "Tommy wants Grandma's meatballs. Can you make some?" Tommy is my grandson. He and his mom were visiting her parents, so they must be coming back. I didn't say anything and hung up. I opened social media. David Chin had posted an update. In the photo, although he was in his 70s, he stood as straight and tall as an ancient pine. You could still see some of his youthful looks. He was a senior literature professor, and Sarah Wu was a literary critic. They often sat together like this, discussing literary works. David, who was usually serious, was now smiling radiantly. In the distance, my son, who never lifted a finger at home, was standing in Sarah Wu's yard, pruning the branches of a large tree. He was working so hard that he didn't even bother to wipe the sweat. But I clearly remembered when I asked him to help me prune the tree, he said he was afraid of heights. A sharp pain shot through my heart, causing my back to slump. Tears streamed down my face. I suddenly realized how ridiculous all my efforts had been. Every day, without fail, I got up at 5 in the morning to make breakfast for the whole family. After breakfast, I had to wash the dishes and tidy up the kitchen. My son and daughter-in-law had to go to work, and I had to rush to take my grandson to school. On the way back, I had to go to the supermarket to buy groceries. When I got home, I had to clean the house and do the laundry. Then I had to quickly pick and wash the vegetables and prepare lunch. After lunch, I had to pick up my grandson. My grandson was a picky eater and always wanted to eat grandma's meatballs, fried eggplant boxes, and braised prawns. Preparing these delicious dishes took even more time. Occasionally, when I was too busy, I would ask David to help pick up the child, but he would frown and complain that I was disturbing him from reading in his study. I spun around like a top, working myself to the bone all these years, without a word of complaint. But this is what I got in return. I had to admit that I was not only a dispensable wife but also a dispensable mother. After recognizing my position, I suddenly woke up. I didn't want to waste another second on these scumbags. From now on, I would be good to myself. I went to the mall and bought myself a new outfit. I was a little hungry when I got back, so I went to a private restaurant and ordered a few dishes. All these years, partly to save money and partly for their health, I had been busy in the kitchen every day, except for attending weddings and banquets. I would never treat the kitchen as my world again. When I got home, I watched some social media videos. It slowly got dark, and I got up to get a drink of water. I heard the sound of a key turning in the lock. David Chin came in. He no longer had the gentle smile in the photo. His serious expression, paired with gold-rimmed glasses, gave off an aloofness that made people shrink back. He was always so high and mighty, so indifferent to me. I was a little afraid of him. I had told him that when we first got married. He said he wasn't good at expressing himself, as long as he had me in his heart. After seeing the tenderness he showed Sarah in the videos, I no longer thought he was just like that by nature. I only felt he was incredibly disgusting and hypocritical. He rubbed his eyebrows and said as a matter of course, "Make me some honey water. I just had a little wine, and my stomach isn't feeling well." Normally, I would have immediately gotten up to make it for him, but now I ignored him. Seeing that I didn't move, David frowned fiercely. "Are you listening to me?" In the past, seeing his impatient look, I would have involuntarily become nervous. But today, I found myself calm. "I'm busy. Make it yourself." David looked incredulous. It was no wonder, this was the first time I had refused him. His face darkened. "What's wrong with you today? Why aren't you answering your son's calls? We ate out today. I didn't ask you to prepare anything, so isn't it nice to have a day off?" I was about to say something when my son and his family came back. My son blamed me for not replying to his messages. My grandson happily ran to the kitchen to eat Grandma's meatballs, but came out disappointed. "Grandma, where are the meatballs? Give them to me. I want to eat them. I didn't make any." Hearing this, my grandson burst into tears. My daughter-in-law immediately picked up my grandson to comfort him. My son stood in front of me in disbelief. "Mom, have you lost your mind today? You hang up when I call, you don't reply to my messages, and you didn't even make Tommy's meatballs. What did you do all day at home?" He scolded me, as if I wasn't his mom bu. A nanny he had hired. I looked at him calmly, without answering him, and asked, "You're not afraid of heights, are you?" He was stunned for a moment, then looked away guiltily. "So, you lied about being afraid of heights just so you wouldn't have to help me climb the tree to prune the branches. But you climbed someone else's tree to help?" "What do you mean someone else?" My son interrupted me in a hurry. "That's Aunt Sarah. She's a woman. she can't do that kind of work. It's okay to help, right? Isn't she your best friend, Mom? I didn't say anything, just stared at my son for a long time, this son I had given birth to after walking through the gates of hell with half my life. During my postpartum period, I didn't have enough milk, and he cried all night because he was hungry. He wouldn't drink formula. I finally squeezed out a little milk, and he happily sucked on it. After he was full, he finally stopped crying, and his little mouth giggled nonstop. I couldn't help but pinch his chubby little face. I thought, how could my baby be so cute? He had always been clingy to me. When he was learning to talk, the first word he said was mama. When he started elementary school, he still wanted to sleep with me. I said, you're a boy, you're all grown up, you have to sleep by yourself. He said in a childish voice, I don't care, I want to be with mommy forever, I want to love mommy forever. But he broke his promise. He took it for granted that I, his mother, was his nanny, and he spoke harshly to me. He despised me, his mother, for not graduating from elementary school, for being uneducated and incompetent. He thought his father was better because he could pave the way for his future, and Sarah Wu's title of literary critic was more prestigious. A tear fell silently. I said in a hoarse voice, from now on, you are no longer my son. He looked at me with some disgust, as if I were some crazy woman who had eaten dog meat. David Chin, who had been silent all along, scolded me angrily. What are you doing? Everyone in the family is happy. Why are you acting crazy, trying to make everyone unhappy? Are you happy now? I looked at him calmly. And you, from now on, you are no longer my husband. David Chin frowned. What do you mean? We're getting a divorce. I don't want to live with you anymore. He stared in astonishment and said coldly, this is ridiculous. We're old. What divorce? Aren't you afraid the children will laugh at us? Seeing the awkward situation, my daughter-in-law took my hand and tried to smooth things over. Mom, did Dad do something wrong? If he did, we'll have him change. Don't be angry. My son interrupted angrily. What could Dad have done wrong? She doesn't do anything all day at home. She's probably too bored and wants to cause trouble. She's so old. Maybe she has dementia. She started talking nonsense as soon as we got back. Mom, I'm warning you, apologize to Dad right now. Don't even think about getting a divorce. I'll be the first to disagree. He kept rambling on, and I finally couldn't bear it anymore. Who do you think you are? Do I need your permission to get a divorce? I usually spoke to him gently. I had never yelled at him like this before. He stared in shock. Everyone else was stunned, seemingly frightened by my reaction. My son, unable to save face, slammed the door and left in anger. Seeing that I was so abnormal, my daughter-in-law didn't say anything more, picked up my grandson, and fled. David Chin scolded me with a displeased look. You've made the children angry and left. Are you happy now? Seeing that I ignored him, his face immediately turned cold. Rose Wang, I advise you not to push it too far. If you do, you won't have a way out. His tone was very impatient, as if he had reached his limit. Can't you understand what I'm saying? I said divorce. Let's talk about the divorce. Don't talk nonsense. He was an upright professor, well-mannered, and couldn't say vulgar words then when he was angry. But I could. Right now, I wished I could use the most vulgar and offensive words in the world to curse him. I wished I could rush up and tear him to pieces. This was the first time I had said such nasty things to him. A flash of shock crossed his eyes, his chest heaving violently, but his face remained calm. I don't know what's suddenly wrong with you, but I won't hold it against you this time. As for the divorce, I'll pretend I didn't hear it. With that, he went into his study. Looking at his sanctimonious appearance, I felt nauseous. I couldn't help but marvel at how thick-skinned he was. He had deceived me my whole life, without the slightest sense of guilt. Since he believed I was being unreasonable, I didn't want to waste any more words on him. I simply took some necessary luggage, didn't say goodbye, and stayed in a hotel for the night. The next day, I took a train north. My hometown is in a northern state. I hadn't been back in years since my parents passed away. The yard was overgrown with weeds, but fortunately, the house hadn't collapsed. I hired a construction crew to renovate it. It was done in less than 2 days. The whole house looked brand new. This would be my home from now on. I bought some flower and vegetable seeds and planned to grow flowers and vegetables. Just as I was planting the seeds, I received a call from my son. After a long silence, I said if he didn't speak, I would hang up. He slowly said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I was wrong that day. I apologize. Where are you? I'll come pick you up." Tommy says he misses Grandma and wants to eat Grandma's stir-fried meatballs. I'm not a nanny you hired, nor am I a cook you hired. And I made it clear that day that I have nothing to do with you anymore. Don't call me again. I hung up. I knew David Chin couldn't bring himself to do it, so he had his son call me. Sure enough, a little while later, I received a call from David Chin. He acted as if nothing had happened, his tone still. So calm and composed. "Where's my blood pressure medication? I haven't taken it in days since you've been gone." He was just making conversation. I said coldly, "Why are you asking me about your blood pressure medication? And why should I care if you haven't taken it in days? Even if you die right now, it has nothing to do with me." I didn't need to imagine David's face. He must be staring in astonishment. I continued, "Too bad you didn't die. Then let's talk about the divorce. When are we getting divorced?" There was silence on the other end for a long time. David Chin said bitterly, "Rose Wang, what's wrong with you? You weren't like this before. You were always gentle and kind. Why are you saying such things to me? I'm not only gentle and kind, but also stupid and easily deceived, right?" His voice softened a little. "Rose, if you're not happy with something, can't you tell me? Can't we communicate properly? Can you please stop disappearing? You're so old. If the neighbors hear about this, how can I hold my head up? Where are you? My son and I will come pick you up." Pick me up to do what? To go through the divorce procedures? Seeing that I was unyielding, his tone became unpleasant. "Rose, I'm giving you a way out. Take it. Don't come crawling back, begging me to change my mind. Listen up, Chin. I'm giving you a week. I hope the next time you call, it's to talk about the divorce." With that, I hung up. After planting the vegetables, I bought myself a small cake to celebrate my new life. From now on, I didn't want to live for them anymore. I didn't want to live for anyone anymore. I wanted to live for myself. Before being someone's wife and mother, I was myself first. After eating the cake, I lay on the couch, comfortably watching TV. The sea on TV was beautiful and magnificent. I suddenly realized that I had never been on vacation in my life. I immediately researched travel guides and finally chose San Diego. I wanted to see what was on the other side of the sea. I immediately went to the train station, bought a ticket, grabbed my luggage, and set off. Standing by the sea, facing the wind, I opened my arms, feeling an unprecedented sense of ease and freedom. At that moment, I felt like I had found the meaning of life and felt alive. I visited many local attractions and ate a lot of snacks. Every place captivated me. I also registered an account on social media and posted my daily life. Many people liked and commented on my posts and interacted with me. On the day I left, I was reluctant to leave and took one last look at the sea. Unexpectedly, I turned around and saw a familiar figure. I only told him to call me, not to show up in front of me. Such a disgusting person was polluting this beautiful sea. I glanced at him, didn't stop, and walked past him to go back. But after only a few steps, David Chin grabbed my wrist. Why didn't you tell us you were coming here? Rose, what are you doing? We've been fine for so many years. Why do you suddenly want a divorce? Just because our son helped Sarah trim a tree? Even though I thought I had let it go, hearing him say these things again made tears well up. Sarah? You call her so affectionately? David Chin, how long are you going to keep lying to me? For 40 years, you've deceived me so cruelly. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong to make you conspire with Sarah to deceive me like this? If I hadn't been cleaning your computer that day, I probably would have been deceived until the day I died. David Chen's face changed instantly. Rose, I know everything. I know everything. You made excuses to be busy at school. You said you were going out to find inspiration for your writing, but you were in bed with Sarah, weren't you? If not, then deny it. David Chen froze, his mouth opening and closing, as if he had been acupunctured. I couldn't help but grab his collar. I spent my whole life bearing and raising children for you, respecting your parents, taking care of you. How could you be so heartless? Are you even human? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? David Chen looked at me crying hysterically, a look of pity on his face for the first time. Rose, you're a complete scumbag. 40 years. Countless long nights, I'm a woman too. Do you know how I spent those long, lonely nights? I was thinking of you, because I believed in you. No matter how difficult it was, I could endure it for you. But what did you do? You took it for granted, without a shred of guilt, and carried on with another woman. You even filmed it and kept it as a souvenir? And you were always so cold to me, like a block of ice. Do you know how much you've hurt me over the years? I felt so wronged. The more I spoke, the more wronged I felt, and the tears flowed more and more freely. David Chin rarely put his arms around me. I pushed him away. Don't touch me. Don't you know how dirty you are? Do our son and daughter-in-law know what you're like? Huh? Dear students, who respect you so much, know that you, this learned professor, are so selfish and self-serving, that you're a beast in clothing? I don't know how long I cried. All I knew was that it was getting dark. I got up to go back to the hotel, but David Chen suddenly stopped me. Rose, I'm sorry. With that, he knelt down in front of me. I know I can't defend myself, but please don't tell the children, okay? I couldn't help but sneer. You still know how to be ashamed? You still know that a person needs a face and a tree needs bark? I spat on him and turned to leave, but he grabbed my ankle. I know it's all my fault. I promise I'll treat you better from now on. Whatever you say goes, okay? I'll give you everything I didn't give you before, okay? You said you wanted a divorce in anger, right? Now I feel sick to my stomach and can't sleep when I see you. How can I live with you anymore? It's only because I'm getting a divorce. You've gone too far, you've been too cruel. If you had treated me like a human being, we wouldn't be in this situation today. With that, I shook him off. The next day, I just got up and came out of my hotel room and saw David Chen sitting on the floor outside my door. He quickly stood up, looking embarrassed. Get lost if you're not here to talk about the divorce. Rose, can't you really give me another chance? David Chen, can you stop pretending? What are you pretending for here? Wouldn't you be happy to be with that slut if we got a divorce? Wouldn't you be gloating? You really won't tell the children, and you won't spread it around? Looking at the man in front of me, who was in his 70s but still handsome and upright, I suddenly felt sad. How could I have fallen for such a guy? Stop talking nonsense. Sign the divorce papers right now, or I'll put posters of shame at the school and ruin your reputation. He finally agreed to divorce me. On the condition that I protect his reputation, he gave me all of his assets. He left with nothing, and I gave him a month to move out of my house. A month later, I met him again at City Hall. We got our divorce papers and went our separate ways. And I saw Sarah Wu's car not far away. It was too much trouble to sell the real estate, and I was afraid of being cheated, so I rented it all out. 5 or 6 properties. I could make a good amount of money in rent every year. This time I flew home. The procedures were a little complicated. It was my first time flying. But it's good to have money. It only took 2 hours to get me home. It had been a long time since I posted anything on my account, so I started posting videos of me raising cats and growing vegetables. I just posted it casually, but unexpectedly, I suddenly became popular. One video got 1 million likes, and I gained tens of thousands of followers. That day, to celebrate, I made myself some pasta. But unexpectedly, just as I was enjoying my meal, an uninvited guest arrived. It was my son. My son stormed in and immediately questioned, "Mom, you divorced Dad? Who told you to get a divorce without asking? You're so old. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing yourself? You're just smearing my face. Didn't I say I would never agree to your divorce? I also said you're nobody. I don't need your permission to get a divorce. Mom, you?" He was so angry that his face turned red. Then his voice softened a bit. "Mom, I know you're angry about what happened last time. I'm sorry, okay? Please come back with me. Look at this place you're living in," he said, getting up and looking around. "You're not living in a high-rise anymore. Why are you living in such a broken-down house? Isn't it inconvenient to buy groceries here? Here I don't have to be treated like a nanny all day, ordered around, and live according to other people's wishes. I eat well and sleep soundly. Mom, don't be stubborn. Tommy misses Grandma. We're both so busy. I'm late for taking Tommy to school several times. My boss said if I'm late again, they might have to optimize me." I couldn't help but sneer. "Where's your dad? Isn't your professor dad very capable? Can't he do this little thing? Don't even mention it. You know Dad can't drive. He made a meal and Tommy threw up and had diarrhea for days. What, now you know your old mom is useful? Didn't you say I had nothing to do at home?" He was ashamed and speechless. "I'm telling you, I, Rose Wang, am a person too. I wasn't born to be someone's appendage. I've been a beast of burden for you my whole life. Now I don't want to be anymore. No son, no husband, I want to live for myself for a few days. Reconciliation is impossible. As for why, go back and ask your dad. He'll tell you everything. It's all his fault." With that, I kicked him out and closed the door. After that, I started living my own life. My social media account became more and more popular. Occasionally, when I had time, I would go live, and many people would ask me questions and interact with me, and they would praise me for being beautiful and saying that I must have been a great beauty when I was young. I also received more attention. I've always liked ancient things. In fact, I was a good student when I was in school, especially in Chinese. I have a very deep foundation in ancient poetry. But I was too poor. My dad said it was useless for a girl to study, she would still have to get married, and he didn't want to waste money on me, because he was afraid there would be no one to cut grass for the cows at home, so he didn't let me study. Sometimes I think, if I could have studied, then I wouldn't have gotten involved with David Chin, and maybe I would have had a husband who loved me wholeheartedly. However, what's past is past. No amount of talking can turn back time. In addition to sharing my rural life, I also wrote poems, and I didn't expect to have a big reaction. In less than 2 months, my followers had grown to 1 million. And I even received a call from a producer. He said I wrote well and wanted to buy it to write lyrics. I was very happy and agreed immediately. After the song was released, it quickly became popular online, and my poems also attracted a lot of official attention. Someone contacted me to publish a book, and someone invited me to join the Writers Association. I have now become a veritable poet, which has always been my dream. Although the road was bumpy, I made it to the end. As for David Chin, I only saw him online. He finally got his wish and was with Sarah Wu. But he still knew he had to be ashamed. He didn't say he was marrying Sarah. Instead, he said that Sarah was already his wife, and they held a golden anniversary celebration. The video was posted online, and everyone was very surprised and moved to tears by the beautiful love of this couple. The next time I met them was 2 months later, when I had just gone to Sweden to receive an international literary award. Although this literary award is niche, it is highly pressed. Aegis, and I am the first Chinese person to receive this honor. At the airport, various media outlets were eager to interview me with their microphones. Many book fans and my followers also wanted my autograph. Everyone was so enthusiastic that I promised to do a live interactive session with them that night. As I left the airport, ready to head to the hotel, a few people rushed towards me. It was my son and his family. My son had completely changed his previous attitude, holding my hand and saying warmly, "Mom, you're amazing. You're bringing glory to China. You're practically a national hero." "Yeah, Grandma is awesome," Tommy added. I ignored them. "Mom, today is such a happy day. Let's go out for a nice meal to celebrate." "Sorry, no thanks. I've already eaten," I replied. As I quickly turned to leave, my grandson grabbed my leg. Grandma, are you abandoning me? I won't ask you for Grandma's meatballs anymore. Please come home." "That other grandma is bad. I don't like her." I had raised the child since he was little, and his aggrieved expression was really endearing. I squatted down to touch his face, then got up to leave. My daughter-in-law stopped me. She usually treated me with respect, often helped me with housework on weekends, and would buy me clothes and jewelry. I wasn't angry with her, so I gave her face. We didn't eat a meal but found a coffee shop, and I learned the purpose of their visit. The bruises on Tommy's body had caught their attention. The school had observed him but couldn't find the cause, so they installed a surveillance camera at home. Then they discovered the truth. Sarah Wu was actually abusing the child, constantly scolding or hitting him. "Mom, we've kicked that bad woman out. Dad defended her, so we kicked him out too. Come home with us. Tommy needs you, and we need you too." Oh. After comparing, you realize that this old woman who didn't even finish elementary school is useful after all? A literary critic is just practical? My daughter-in-law slapped my son on the arm. "Hurry up and apologize to Mom. She's the mother who gave birth to you, raised you, and loved you her whole life. Look at the nonsense you said that day. You really broke Mom's heart." "Mom, I'm sorry. I was really wrong, and I truly regret how I treated you before." "Regret? Did you ever really treat me like your mom? You just regret losing a free babysitter. You don't regret my feelings, you regret Sarah Wu being such a disobedient nanny. Have you forgotten what you said when you were little? You said you'd stay with Mom forever, love me forever, and never let me suffer. But how did you act? You're just like your heartless father, selfish and hypocritical. I'll never forgive you. If the child needs someone to take care of him, go find a nanny. Don't think about finding me, a free babysitter. I want to live for myself now, and I have my own career. I'm not just Rose Wang, who only knows how to wash dishes and pots. Do you understand?" If you stop me on the street again, I'll call the police for harassment. With that, I got up and left. After that, my career flourished. I was completely on a different level from David Chin, a mere literature professor, and Sarah Wu, a so-called literary critic. I had countless book fans and was a huge social media influencer. My royalties were several years' worth of their salaries. And it seemed like cracks had appeared between David Chen and Sarah Wu. That day, I went back to deal with the real estate there and saw people arguing on the street, surrounded by a large crowd of onlookers. Some were even recording with their phones. "Slut, you're so old your hair is white. How dare you cheat on me? Have you been messing around with other men behind my back all these years?" He slapped her across the face repeatedly. The woman cried and cursed, "David Chin, why the hell are you hitting me? I'm not your wife." Hearing the familiar name, I walked closer and saw that it was indeed David Chen and Sarah Wu. "I really misjudged you, you shameless bitch. All you do these days is put on makeup, and the food you cook is like pig slop. You're so sloppy even your own mother wouldn't recognize you. You're nothing compared to Rose Wong. The biggest regret of my life is letting Rose Wong down." Rose Wong, if Rose Wong is so great, why the hell did you come looking for me? She's already flown up the branches and become a phoenix. You think about her now? You probably can't even smell her farts. What did you say? David Chin kicked Sarah Wu to the ground. I could hardly believe it. How could the always gentle and refined David Chin say such things and hit a woman? Hearing his words, the white moonlight had finally become a mosquito bite. I helped call 911 and didn't stay any longer. Before evening, a social media video of the two of them was trending locally. Spill the tea. This woman is so old, yet still so thirsty. I'm done. I'm laughing so hard, everyone. Is this an old people's version of Temptation of Wife? So dramatic. Wait a minute, isn't that Professor David Chin? My God, Professor David Chin is so pitiful. Such a loving husband, yet he was cheated on. Soon after, someone dug up the truth. Loving husband, my ass. You've all been deceived. This guy is a scumbag who abandoned his wife. The old bastard kicked out his original wife to be with this Sarah Wu or whatever her name is. Oh my God, is this even a human being? So old and still so disgusting. A scumbag is a scumbag, no matter how old they get. Sisters, I work in a nursing home. If I ever see this son of a bitch in the nursing home, I'll slap him to death. Before long, they discovered that I was the tragically abandoned original wife. I had a large following, and the fact that I was in my 70s and had achieved such success aroused sympathy from many. My followers soared. The comments section was full of people cursing the David Chin and Sarah Wu were completely cancelled and forced to go offline. I thought things would slowly calm down, but then David Chen's computer broke down. He took it to a repair shop, and the repairman saw the folder inside. The repairman was one of my book fans and made all the videos public. Another uproar erupted online, and the condemnation of David Chin and Sarah Wu was reignited. David Chen's former employer also took notice, and all the titles and honors he had received were revoked. Soon after, my son and his family came to my door again, bringing David Chin. They brought many gifts, and David Chin even bought me gold bracelets, gold rings, and a gold necklace. Wife, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Forgive me. Now I know how good you are and how important you are to me. The rose-tinted glasses shattered, and I saw him as old and frail, making me want to vomit. Rose Wong, I can't live without you. We've been husband and wife for so long, we can't just break up like this. Without you, I haven't eaten a proper meal in days. I haven't had a single decent meal. Tears even welled up in his eyes. If you haven't eaten anything, then starve to death. Rose Wang, you've always been good to me. How can you be so heartless? How dare you say that? I was good to you my whole life. What did you do? You treated me like a tool for having children, deceiving and cheating me my whole life, for 40 years. A person only lives once. You heartless animal, how dare you come here? You should have bashed your head against the wall. Mom, my dad is not a good person. He didn't act like one at all. He has nothing now, so please forgive him. Shut up. And you, I worked hard to raise you, and you actually sided with the enemy, thinking you were a good person. You ordered your mother around, afraid that that woman would be hit by a branch, so you climbed up the tree to fix the branches. Have you forgotten? I don't want to say another word to you. You two scumbags get out of here right now. They didn't leave but stayed at a hotel nearby, harassing me every day. Helpless, I could only lock the door and continue traveling. I saw the news of Sarah Wu's death online. Sarah Wu had actually been messing around with other men all these years. One reason she didn't get married was because of David Chen, and another reason was that she didn't want to lose her freedom. Unfortunately, her promiscuous lifestyle led to various sexually transmitted diseases, genital warts, syphilis, and AIDS. Before her death, she suffered from multiple organ failure and was as skinny as a skeleton, experiencing unbearable pain. Destroying other people's families and betraying her best friend was her retribution. Thinking about the 40 years I spent with David Chen, I quickly went to the hospital for a comprehensive checkup. Fortunately, there were no problems. The fact that he didn't touch me for 40 years now seemed like it saved my life. But David Chen wasn't so lucky. He had been experiencing unexplained high fevers, and his son took him to the hospital. The hospital successfully found the cause. He caught it, and the sons, afraid of infection, had completely cut off contact with him. I almost laughed out loud. The cruel torture, more terrifying than hell, was yet to come.